The keys are his kingdom, and the pianist is the master of all he surveys.
How I can describe it is like you fall into the piano, like you're just there. You don't know anything else is going on.
When Richard Lemons plays, he and the piano become one, and nothing else seems to matter.
Piano has been a way for him to just forget about everything else, and just something that brings him joy, and you could always tell that by the songs that he would choose.
Piano was always the first thing I went to. It was always just get my mind off that and get over here.
Separating himself from reality has been a struggle. The relationship between Richard and his biological parents is best described as non-existent.
I know that they are kind of like an acquaintance of mine, but I don't necessarily consider them my mother and father.
Thankfully, Richard's grandparents stepped in and filled that role.
They're like a mother and father to me. They took care of me daily. They were there for me.
But when Richard was just 10 years old, his grandfather passed away.
It destroyed me. It threw me into a very severe depression. I really have not been myself ever since then. I mean, who wouldn't be depressed after losing a father?
6 years later, tragedy struck again when Richard's grandmother died, and that led Richard on a downward spiral.
I honestly was at the point where I told my friends I just wanted to kill myself, get over with. But someone just told me to hold on and stick it through.
In fact, there were plenty of people there to lend support. Julie and Paul McIntyre, educators in Riverside Unified School District, stepped up, along with fellow educators Brian and Jean Marie Harris, who offered to take Richard in.
She bathes him first and gets him cleaned up.
Brian and I said, okay, we will take him. This is, he's got to have some place. We did not want him going into the foster care system.
The Harrises told Richard they would treat him no different than they did their own children. Perhaps that explains why Richard is so quick to refer to Brian and Jean Marie as father and mother.
The Harrises are my parents now. They're my guardians. They took me in, kind of gave me back that sense of family, sense of security, just all around, and kind of patched me back together.
It's probably the highest compliment you can get from any young person that you have the privilege to be involved with. It's not your own child.
The young man who lost so much so young has now found a new home, a new family, a new life.
I don't know how to describe it other than a miracle, because when I look back on it, I don't think this could have been possible. Just a combination of all the love and care and all the things I fell in love with to do kind of combined into one and just brought me back up to who I think I can be.